Hi everyone, welcome to our next series of SUP Talks. Today I have two valuable guests. One of them is Yacoub Rahimov joining us from the United States. And the next guest is Mr. Turan Almamadov, and he's joining us from Turkey. Today we will be talking about Bitcoin and blockchain, and also about the future of Bitcoin after halving. So I would like to introduce my guest. Mr. Yacoub Rahimov is a technology entrepreneur, investor, and also a consultant. He's been in the crypto space for more than 10 years now, and he's one of the early investors of Bitcoin. And Mr. Turan Almamadov is an entrepreneur, he's an innovator, and also a blockchain architect. He's also a consultant as well. He's one of the experts in blockchain. So I would like to go ahead and start with Yacoub. So let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin, just to explain what Bitcoin is and how it works, and what's the difference between Bitcoin and the fiat currency.
So thanks, Vishal, for the invitation. I appreciate the attention, and hi everyone. For those of you joining early morning, good morning, and those of you joining during the daytime or nighttime, good afternoon and evening. Regarding Bitcoin, I have a very different stance about what Bitcoin is. I believe Bitcoin is a potential value unit, just like any other scalable or measurable instrument that we have, like kilometer, kilo, pound, or I don't know, Celsius, Fahrenheit, and so on. Value in our current world is not measurable, is not scalable. So there is no value measurement unit. And I believe that the Bitcoin itself is a very candidate to become the real value measurement unit. In the history, we have had these value measurement units being based in certain countries or geographies rather than countries, on gold or silver. But in modern world, it used to be dollar, the US dollar, the currency of where I am right now. But even right now, there is a significant fight between countries whose currency is the reserve currency of the world, whose currency should fall and whose currency should rise. And we can see like there is a significant rally on that side. And because Bitcoin does not belong to any one government or any one centralized party, therefore it has a very, perhaps not exactly Bitcoin, but something similar to Bitcoin, we cannot even say, has a very good potential to become the world value measurement unit.
Thank you very much for the explanation. And when we talk about Bitcoin, sometimes there's a confusion about blockchain in general. So some people associate blockchain with Bitcoin only, but there are certain other applications as well. So Turan, could you please talk a little bit about blockchain, what blockchain is, how it is related to cryptocurrencies, and what other uses does it have in general?
So basically, blockchain is the new way of, let's say, running applications, scaling databases, and Bitcoin is the first and the well-known application of the blockchain, let's say. But in the other hand, blockchain can be used for various reasons. For example, right now, the IBM, for example, uses blockchain to track the users, let's say, tracking to track the user's experience in the mobile apps or in the websites, for example. Or we are using blockchain in the recruitment sector, in the recruitment market. Basically, we save and track candidate database in the blockchain. So blockchain is a technology, and Bitcoin is the first application of this technology, which is well known. And but people are, as you said, people basically thinks that they are the same thing, but that's not true. And by the way, Bitcoin is the one of the poor application of the blockchain. It's not the fantastic one, but I will come to it anyway. I will explain it.
Okay, thank you so much. Yaqub, when Bitcoin started, in the white paper written by Satoshi Nakamoto, it said that Bitcoin was a peer-to-peer currency. But then along the way, something has changed. There was like a disagreement between the community, and it ended up becoming a digital gold. So I would like to ask about this process. I mean, what happened? Why did it become a digital gold? I mean, why did Bitcoin had a different path?
Well, I actually would like to talk about what makes Bitcoin different before we even go through it. Like everything else, Bitcoin is the first. Everything has inception, and blockchain technology incepted with the peer-to-peer transaction. That was Bitcoin, and it is still peer-to-peer transaction. There is no third party inside. No matter you call it digital gold or peer-to-peer transaction currency or whatever, it is still peer-to-peer transaction unit, correct? From there on, we moved into blockchain 2.0. In blockchain 2.0, the most famous example is actually Ethereum protocol, which is based on Solidity, where you are able to create more like smart contracts. And smart contracts are simply put something like a vending machine. What happens in there when you buy a vending machine? By the way, first time smart contract word even was used had nothing to do with blockchain. It was in 1976 or 86. I don't remember the date by heart. It was used for vending machines, because when you put a coin into the vending machine and then you press that button, you exactly know what you're going to be getting out of it. When you're pressing Coke out of the B2 for $1, you know that you're going to get. You see that there is Coke in there. It's transparent. The screen is transparent, and you see that there is Coke in there. You press the B2 and you put the dollar. Voila, you have the Coke coming out of it. And smart contracts were exactly something similar: transparency with exact ruling in place and giving you the result. However, when we are speaking of the smart contracts, we are lacking one thing. There are now so many different smart contracts that they don't speak to each other. So there is a lack of communication between the two or more, or one or more protocols, or one or more blockchain, and that's blockchain 3.0. It hasn't been developed yet. So if we are looking for something like the future of blockchain, future of transactions, future of technology, value remittances, we need to speak of blockchain 3.0. And so far it doesn't exist. The new Ethereum protocol that's being built, 2.0 Ethereum, kind of goes very close to it, but it's not live yet. So we'll see how it's going to be developed. And now going back to it, what happened to Bitcoin? Bitcoin is very, very limited number, has a very limited number. And it was the first thing. The fact that the first 2 years of mined coins out there are either lost or is not being trackable, meaning even myself, I remember I bought close to like 300 Bitcoin back in the day, and I put it on a USB stick and I lost it somewhere, and I don't know where it is. And now 300 Bitcoin may sound such a big number, but back then I only paid $5 for it. So $5, you put $5, you don't really care about it, right? So that I'm not the only one. There are so many other people who had bought or mined or did something with their Bitcoin and they lost it. And now, as much as the value number, the number of mined Bitcoins appear to be large, the fact is that at least 10-15% of the total mined coins are completely lost, and people probably will never retrace them. Now, this means that the Bitcoin, the scarcity increases. And in economy, we need to understand one thing: supply and demand. When supply is becoming scarcer, minimalistic number of supply, the demand stays flat or higher. The way people treat it becomes a little different. Like, as an example, you have let's say a Volkswagen and a Lamborghini. You are less likely to drive your Lamborghini than your Volkswagen, because Lamborghini has a higher value for you. It's scarcer. It has more value for you. Therefore, you are most likely going to utilize your Volkswagen compared to Lamborghini. And Bitcoin is very similar right now, because people believe that it should gain more value. It should become the feature of the remittances, the feature of the value transaction, and therefore they don't like literally utilizing it. And especially after the halving, you can see that miners are not really moving their coins that they used to do before the halving, because they believe that the value of it after 6 to 8 months it should go higher compared to what it is or what it was before.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, Tron. You want to add something? Yes.
Yeah. So your second question was why it changed from being a payment network to the store of value. So there is a very easy reason and a very clean reason for this, because Bitcoin's technology didn't let people to send payments quickly. It took a lot of time to send a Bitcoin from one account to another one. And why? Because Bitcoin was running on the proof of work mechanism. And this is where I think the problem starts. So right now, the 73% of the whole Bitcoin mining power sits in the China. And it means that basically if Chinese miners will say that, we are not mining, it means that Bitcoin network will just stop. There will be millions of unconfirmed transactions and accounts cannot work, let's say. So why previous year developers developed a Lightning network for Bitcoin, but it's again sits on the real Bitcoin network blockchain, and it's again works on the proof of work mechanism. I think the biggest problem about Bitcoin is proof of work mechanism, and this is going and at the end of the, let's say, maybe not right now, but after 5 or 6 years, I think that technologists will understand that, okay, proof of work, POW, is something bad, and coins that work on this algorithm is not reliable. So I think it is going to be the end of the Bitcoin, to be honest, within 5 or 6 years, because it is commercially unreliable. Economics sits on the Chinese miners, okay? So this is basically, I don't know, this is basically bad. So you cannot use it. You cannot use it in the payments as a store of value. It is a store of value, but if Chinese miner will accept your transaction, okay, will approve your transaction. So why I think, maybe Jakub doesn't think the exact same thing, but I think that after let's say after a decade, 10 or 15 years, Bitcoin will not exist because it is commercially doesn't mean anything. But if you will look at to the other blockchains or cryptocurrencies, for example, we mentioned smart contracts, yes? So all smart contract type blockchains are going to work because it's something commercially viable. It has some value on it, and it doesn't run on the proof of value, proof of work algorithm. So it is something reliable. You can run your business on this anyway. Like this. This is my opinion. So I think even we will have the 5th or 6th or 7th halving, it doesn't mean anything because Bitcoin cannot be a store of value because of the proof of work algorithm, proof of work mechanism.
I kind of, Turan, disagree with you. Not kind of, certainly disagree with you.
Yeah.
You know, human psychology is built on impossible. I want to repeat that sentence again. Human psychology is based on the impossible. Whatever becomes so-called impossible, the human beings try to make it possible. So at its current stage, Bitcoin may appear as something not reachable, but or not fast enough, like everyone is. The biggest claim among the haters of the Bitcoin community is that, hey, look, Visa transactions are this number of transactions per second, and Bitcoin is only 26 or something like that. But the world is more scalable than that. Yeah, sure. Bitcoin is not as fast as Visa, but at the same time, Bitcoin is not as centralized as Visa. On the other side, you're commenting about China. The fact that China tried to ban and put bunch of miners in prison. I know people personally that went to prison. I know people personally are still under house arrest, and yet they so much believe in the decentralization and the mindset of it, and they're still mining it. It means a lot. By the way, just FYI, 3 weeks ago, we hit the Bitcoin hash rate hit the all-time high, just all-time high historically. That is in itself is in essence an indication of how much trust there is. What is different? Let me comment about it. I've been there since 2009. I've seen the rise and so-called the projections that it's gonna die and crash and disappear at least 5 times that I can remember. The most recent being 2017 to 18 crash that people, it's gonna die and disappear, and well, good luck. I've seen it multiple times. I was there. I lost myself a bunch of coins with Mt. Gox, where things disappeared, and I literally was among the haters also at some point where I couldn't understand. I just couldn't comprehend the fact that it's based on scarcity. Scarcity is the value element of Bitcoin, nothing else. And scarcity with transparency and the part that is not touchable. No one can take your coin away unless you're stupid enough, like I was at some point, and you use unsecure server. People will come and hack your computer or your drive and take it away. Unless you are like that, no one, no government, nobody else, no hacker, nobody can touch your earnings. And I'll tell you what, like, we live in a very different world. People are not trees to have roots in one city or one place and grow to be born in one place and die in the same place. People change their residencies every time. How easy do you believe that you can transact money right now? In our modern world, you cannot bring gold to anywhere. Try to go with 3 necklaces in the airport. They'll detain you at the airport for smuggling gold. Try bringing cash over 10,000. Good luck with that. Try sending over 10,000 over bank. Again, good luck with it. So Bitcoin right now is the only transparent way of transacting value from one place to another without being dependent on one central authority. and that itself is more valuable than the speed of transaction ever will be. That's my personal opinion, of course, but we'll see.
But my concern was not about the speed. So basically, I was saying that the 70% of the Bitcoin mining today is this power. Chinese miners has this power. This is the first thing. The second thing is it has a proof of work algorithm, and this is the poorest algorithm right now. It is very open. It is vulnerable to 51% attack. Okay, it is vulnerable. It doesn't have.
The whole world tried it multiple times. It's just a theory that it is possible. 51% attack is possible on Bitcoin Cash. It's not possible on Bitcoin. The core, the main Bitcoin, it's no one has ever tried. I mean, the whole world got together multiple times that they tried. I'm not I don't consider myself an architect. I don't consider myself nowhere to be an IT expert. But it's so far, anyone who claimed it, they all have failed. And you cannot, with all due respect, tell me that one person or one party ever succeeded except just putting it in words, or it's subject to 51% attack or something like that. Can you tell me one successful case?
Let me say you one thing. So what, for example, why we have all these forks of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV? Why we have them?
Because it's bullshit. Both Bitcoin Cash is bullshit. I know Roger Ver in person. He just became greedy. Satoshi Vision, the dude is scam. I don't know. I know Bitcoin Gold founder Jack in person. Again, they just had visions. But you forget one thing. All of those forks, they are all centralized. Bitcoin is not.
My friend, Jakub, listen. I agree with you that all of them are bullshit, 100%. But how they created these forks, because the developer community, the 30% or 40% of developer community thought that we need to change something in Bitcoin, in block size or something else. And then they convinced the miner community to do this. It means that miners are manipulable. So basically we can manipulate them and we can change, we can convince them to be a part of another blockchain network. The second thing is, I agree with you that from the theoretical point of view, from the Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper, Bitcoin is a decentralized network. That is cool, no problem.
The only decentralized, by the way.
No. And the thing that I am saying that, no, Hyperledger is much more decentralized than Bitcoin. Come on. Let me finish my. So, who owns the 63% of the Bitcoin mining and financial and miners? Yes, the company. So this is a company. Maybe they are running with the multiple computers. It doesn't mean that they are decentralized. All of them are the property of one company.
You just dismissed your own claim. There is a party who owns 63% of the mining power, and yet they cannot do the 51% attack.
No, I'm not saying that 51% attack is something is going to happen. I'm saying
it cannot be happening
from the code point of view, because it runs on the proof of work algorithm, theoretically it is vulnerable to 51% attack. This is what I am saying.
Theoretically, theoretically the world should have disappeared against so many space rocks multiple times in the history. It didn't happen. We don't live in theoretical words. I want to actually turn around and give you the reasons why I say that Bitcoin is the only fully decentralized platform. If someone, and I would change my word, if someone goes ahead and finds who Satoshi is, then I will completely, I promise to sell every single coin of mine and never even put 1 cent on it ever again. Like, you take the Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, whatever you can think of among all the coins out there, there is always a driving force behind it. If Roger Ver dies tomorrow, Bitcoin Cash will die with him, because he's the one basically pushing it, attacking Bitcoin community and trying to attract people. Using the word, I mean, he gave me myself when he was my guest in Cyprus. I don't know, he tried to make me fall for it and made me open a Bitcoin.com wallet and sent me one Bitcoin Cash or something like that. And it happened to me to be in my account within 3 seconds. Fine, it was fast. But do I care about fast? No. Now let's take the whole world. When you go to your whichever country you are in, you go to a bakery, and you tell that, do you know Dogecoin? People will, as secure as it could be, people will not know what's Dogecoin. But you come and go to anybody, almost a beggar in the street, you mentioned that Bitcoin, everyone knows about it. And it's the completely decentralized way of PR even in there. So everyone knows about it, and you offer a person the option to own a Bitcoin or Bitcoin, whatever fork out there. I can assure you everyone will go for a Bitcoin. The only reason why some of the miners have shifted their power to other forks, one, the machines that they were using, they became outdated for Bitcoin because hash rate is becoming more and more difficult, correct? They need to use those machines to something else. Two, can you tell me what is the two?
No, I cannot, but this is
I'll tell you what it is. Greed. Two is greed. Greed. Because they see that, hey, I can mine, let's say, Zilica or whatever it is, and I'll make X amount more. But let's be honest, it's just temporary thing. When the Bitcoin Cash hash rate increases higher, people disappear. Any other, and guess where they all try to again jump in? Bitcoin. So anyway, this is the debate on this subject has taken place. I've seen myself at least 500 to 600 times between all different kind of so-called leaders of the industry, and by all means, I don't really consider myself a leader in this industry. I'm just an amateur supporter of the decentralization, and I don't really wish to go and fight with a dear friend here, or it just doesn't make sense. This discussion has never been materialized into something. It's just your thought against my thought, and we are right in both ways, but we are wrong also at the same time to some point.
Yes, actually. Yes, Tran.
Just last thing, I agree.
Yes.
Jakub, that's cool. We are just trying to have fun together. That's all. And like, by the way, did you know that who as you mentioned, all these mining machines are getting older, and so why you need to change it? And do you know who is the seller of this mining machines? It's again a Chinese company. The name is Bitmain, and 80% of the mining machines are okay. Cool. So just to mention.
I mean, if you go on that direction, I should stop using my laptop, my phone, my TV, any electronic that I can think of, because a part of it or all part of it is being manufactured in China. The iPhone that you use is being manufactured in China.
My concern is not about manufacturing. My concern about the decentralized thing that you mentioned is so important in this network. I agree with you that Bitcoin can be a store of value, digital gold, etc. Unless it is, the mining power sits on China. So, and this is the biggest problem. So,
do you know the main reason why? Sorry, Vishal, let me finalize.
It's very interesting.
Why China is leading it? Let's say not the US or not Germany. It's because people in China are being put under so much pressure. have you tried to get do business with China? And you send money to China, it will go like a butter and a knife, you know, very freaking easy. But have you ever tried to get something out of China ever before? As long as it is a financial product we are speaking of, it's next to impossible unless you do some money laundering and so on. You cannot really take money out of China. And it's becoming stricter and stricter. People are making money, or at least they think like they are making money in China, and they cannot yet go do something. And that's the reason why people in China are really going more and more into, well, they show the interest, and the Chinese government tries to kill it, because that's the way that China has no control on people's will, on deciding what they're going to do with whatever they own. And once again, regarding the mining machines, by the way, you can turn your PS4, PS5 that's coming up into a miner. As long as you have a GPU and you know a little bit of a coding, you can turn anything that has GPU in it into a Bitcoin miner. It doesn't have to be ASIC, it doesn't have to be Bitmain, it doesn't have to be anything that's well known. I know personally people that are buying GPUs from different places and just placing it on even shoe racks and making it a miner. So the claim on that side that it's being manufactured in China and being used by the Chinese mostly, more sounds like Corona is killing the world because it comes from China. Let's kill the Chinese. Chinese, I mean, I don't really care whether it's being manufactured. Neither should you or anyone else. Who cares?
But if the mining company and the machine company is the same company, then you will care, because basically you determine what is going to be the hash rate for 10 hours, and you have, you know, limitless access to the hardware. Okay, cool. Let's stop this.
Just one quick question. Actually, Jack Dorsey's Square is one of the biggest miners in the world right now, and he's one of the leading names endorsing Bitcoin. So I know that you're putting a lot of emphasis on China, but there are other countries, there's a community of people actually supporting this movement. It's not just like dependent on a country itself. So I think it will be very difficult to claim that the whole process will depend on China, even though if China goes out of work, or if there's some kind of banning or something like that.
When we will take the mining power from China, then we can say that Bitcoin is a decentralized, and the has a decentralized network, and the Bitcoin is a digital gold. But right now, for these reasons, we cannot say this.
Okay, no problem. You both touched the topic of Bitcoin halving. So could you please talk a little bit about what Bitcoin halving is and what's the purpose behind it? I mean, why there's a halving in Bitcoin?
So instead of talking more about Bitcoin halving, let's talk about the problem that you and we all face in this world. Our money that we earned yesterday is worth less today, and that's called inflation, right? Inflation is a real thing. Like you are in Azerbaijan, I believe. I left Azerbaijan in 2008. That time, the average, if you would have 1,000 manat on your hand, you would do many things. And I was in Azerbaijan in February. I was spending 1,000 manat almost every week, and I couldn't just see where the money was going. So that's the inflation, right? Bitcoin itself was created in 2008 after the crisis because of the basically lack of points in the fiat economy that the whole world is operating in. It's the inflation. Bitcoin is inflationary. What it means is that they didn't just produce 21 million Bitcoin immediately and distribute it in the form of airdrops, like a lot of new coins are trying to do. What they did was they enabled people to go and mine from very simple, very fast way At the beginning, you could mine hundreds of Bitcoin in just 10 minutes, and it became harder and harder and harder. Nowadays, every 4 years, to mine new coins basically go half the way. At the moment, it's around 900 coins a day. This is per day. And if you calculate it every day at its current rate of 9,000 or something like that, it makes $8.1 million worth of new coins are being produced. But when people are mentioning it, they also forget one significant element here. When 8.1 million coin being produced, you also need to consider the transaction cost that people are paying for. So just as many are being deducted, and where does it go? It goes to the miners again. So in the next 4 years, it will become 450 coins a day, and then afterwards 225, and lower and lower and lower. And that's basically what makes, again, Bitcoin more valuable. By the way, the current Bitcoin equilibrium point for miners, if we have people interested in mining, full disclosure, I have never mined, and I don't plan to ever mine any coin myself. But if you have, let's say, 3 to 6 cents per kilowatt of electricity, and you buy the most recent miner from Bitmain that our friend Turan does not really like, that it's from China, you would end up having approximately between $3,000 to $5,500 per Bitcoin production cost. The rest of it would be your profit. And that's also one of the main reasons why we don't see currently miners sending a lot of the coins into the market. Historically, though, we have seen the miners being the biggest sellers. When there is any big dip in the market, we see the miners dumping more because they're afraid of losing more of their earnings. And a lot of the miners have the common belief that the Bitcoin price will surpass the $20,000 level by the end of this year.
Yes, just you touched the topic of price. So, Trump, what do you think? How the pandemic, the situation with the pandemic, and the situation with the oil, the oil prices have crashed, and that's where most of the electricity comes from, and that's what they use to mine the Bitcoin. So, how do you think this current situation will affect the price of Bitcoin after the halving?
So in every halving is the artificial way to create inflation, first of all, and basically, as Jakub mentioned,
reduce the inflation.
Reduce the inflation, let's say. But from the price point of view, basically, when we had a halving in Bitcoin, after 3 or 4 months, we are having new all-time high prices. So everyone is waiting for it. But this is something that Jakub can answer better because he is better on trading, let's say. But in my opinion, right now we will see a little bit some lows in Bitcoin and in all cryptocurrencies. Let's say we will see it down to 7,000 or 6,000 again. Then we will have the next bull run.
Yes, Jakub, you have been to halving in 2016, 2012. So what's your experience? I mean, based on your experience, what do you think the prices, how will the prices show themselves? I mean, will they go up or down? What's your thought?
Unless something really big from the hacking perspective happens somewhere, and generally it's not the Bitcoin itself being hacked, it's not generally, all the time. Bitcoin has never been hacked, but it's some stupid exchange using bad architecture or doing some retarded management. Then, originally speaking, and gradually the demand stays flat, or even if it rises by one of the 10,000s level every day, meaning if you get just tiny bit of increase on the interested parties every day, the price of Bitcoin should be rising. That's how it is. There is only 21 million that they can ever be, right? So from that perspective, we should be seeing more price increase in Bitcoin. And just something that I would like to attract your attention. The current, I don't know how much is the current Bitcoin market cap. It's 100 something billion, right?
Yes.
I'm not really following it very crazily. But if you dive more deep into it, you would see that just Tesla is more valuable than Bitcoin. So it just shows how much of upside potential it has. And if we are just looking at the stock market, we saw Dow Jones collapse from almost 30,000 level to 16,000 something level, and then from there in a matter of 3-4 weeks go all the way back to 27.5, and last night in one day lose almost 2,000 points. We can, and by the way, no one is saying that Dow Jones is crashing. It says that market is impacting. And guess what? If Bitcoin is moving by 5%, the whole world is going to come and say that the Bitcoin is crashing and it's burning and it's dying. Pandemic is killing it. You need to understand one thing. As long as the simplistic supply demand exists in the world, we will see better and higher Bitcoin prices. But I really don't care much about the Bitcoin price or anything else. I love the technology itself. Whether it's proof of work or proof of stake or whatever proof of it is that is out there, they all add and bring new value to our world. I want to control my data. I don't want to have Google to control who I am and have 20-something thousand data points to track me. I want to be able to close and cancel my data, not because I want to hide something. It's just my human right. I want to be able to send my wealth from one party to another party without a bank telling me that, hey, you cannot do it. That's my right. I've earned for my wealth. I've worked for it. I've earned it. I've paid my taxes. So it's my money. Not so. Who the hell is a bank as a third party to tell me that I cannot send it from myself to my sister?
Yes.
And this is the very important core element of this technology. Not only Bitcoin, I want to repeat again, but anything that is eliminating those arrogant bankers that's becoming more and more bureaucratic. I cannot send right now from Europe 1,000 euros to my family in Azerbaijan without the bank bothering me. First, the bank bothers me in Europe, in Germany, or wherever I am. Why you are sending the money to there? And then they receive it in Azerbaijan and they want to tax it. Hey, I'm sending a support to my family. Why do I need to? Why do you need to? It's the same surname. It's the same name that's sending, and it says family support. These things cannot happen in Bitcoin. Will not happen in Bitcoin because there is no one to tell you that you cannot.
Yes, that's actually what decentralization is. And we talked about the halving, but just one question about the predictions in the future. So what do you think will happen after the mining is over, Turan? I mean, you are so concerned about mining, but in 2140, I guess it's the last date when the mining will stop. So what do you think will happen to Bitcoin once the mining stops?
Theoretically, mining will not stop. The new Bitcoin issuing is going to stop, but someone needs to approve the transactions. Yes. So basically, I mean, my friends like Jakub, let's say, they believe that it's going on without, and it can go on without, let's say, central authorities, or let's say, even if we will, even mining will stop, Bitcoin somehow will live, something like this. But basically, if Bitcoin will be decentralized enough, there will be enough miners to approve the transactions. Okay, so I don't have any concern about this. But I think after 10 or 15 years, we will see a lot of hybrid blockchains that can host more than, let's say, 10 or 15 other blockchains coins, and these are going to be the mainstream blockchains that we are going to use in the future. And one of the companies right now are working on it very hard. The name is Ripple, and Ripple, one of the most decentralized blockchains in the world right now.
Least.
No. The most people think that most people think that Ripple is not a decentralized network. This is basically not true. You need to go and check the node list, and you will see that only 3% of the computers right now running by Ripple, and most of them are running by different financial institutions in Korea, in Mexico, in somewhere else. Okay,
that's the Ripple network. It has nothing to do with the Ripple, the XRP coin. XRP is useless. It has no utility. Even no, I mean none. I have had a chat and direct fireside debate with the Ripple team personally, and I have proven them wrong. So Ripple,
my friend,
do not tell me.
Do banks
Listen,
use Ripple to transfer the money? I mean, I know that there are certain, like, they have some contracts with different banks, but they're like a real case.
On a daily basis, we implemented Ripple to one bank. So why I know this process very well, and I know the Ripple team. So Ripple, I think, to be honest, okay, Ripple is the only blockchain company which has a real use case, okay, and which has a real, let's say, support from the modern financial system.
Let's not mix the technology to coin.
I believe coin also. So,
the coin has this much of value. I mean,
Jakub, right now, listen, my friend, I can show you the chart right now, okay? Right now, XRP is using by the banks to transfer value from one country to another one. And this is what they call ODL, on-demand liquidity. And
I'll ask, can you answer me one simple way? Say you have 10,000 Ripple, the XRP, yourself. What's the use of it?
You cannot.
Nothing.
As a user,
exactly. So you just answered it yourself, and it is only useful, and it's partially useful, by the way, on the bank side.
Jakub, because XRP is a utility coin, it's not a security coin. Okay, so for example, people are playing, let's say, PUBG. We are also in the game industry, as you know. So people are playing PUBG. They are buying coins or UCs to pay for something. So is it? Can you use UC to buy a bread? No, of course, because it's a utility coin. Ripple is also a utility coin. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have a value. It means that it has a value in some type of ecosystem.
I'll tell you what, XRP was created in order to add liquidity and easy money printing for Ripple team. They keep on doing it, and there is no limitation on it as long as they need money. And you can see that every 3 to 4 weeks they run out of cash, and I repeat again, they run out of cash, not Ripple, and they suddenly open up their reserves, and voila, there is 20 million Ripple going.
That is basically not true.
That's 100% true.
My friend, no, listen. I can show you it again. I can speak with proofs and facts that company Ripple. I of course, I'm not the advocate of Ripple company, but I am talking about the, blockchain technology. Okay, but I have to mention it because I know them. I work with them. So they locked all their cryptos to the escrow, and they are releasing it under one policy, and they announce it before they are selling it on the markets. Okay, and they don't just sell it because they are run out of cash or something else. And this company basically cannot run out of cash because they are earning millions of dollars from the banks because of the software that they are selling. So I don't think that they will have a cash problem. And right now, more than 200 banks are using Ripple's technology, and banks are paying.
Technology.
And
they don't
exactly,
use the XRP.
exactly. The 5%
anyway,
of
this
the 5%
let's finish
of
this
this
up
bank,
because
because
it
the
just
5%
becomes
of these companies are using XRP. So as you basically, they don't sell currencies because they run out of cash. It's impossible. It's all of them are locked down to the escrow. Even they cannot do it. Okay.
It's useless, and I'm gonna no matter what you say, with all due respect, I don't want to even debate about it. Every 3 to 4 weeks, they release a couple of million to 20, 30 million Ripple XRP tokens, which is just and you can see it every time the token itself is rallying a little bit. That's the time that they would release it, and that's the time that it crashes the price. So full disclosure, I in total have 130 Ripple that someone gave me before, and I don't care about that crap. I use the word crap. Excuse my language.
Okay, I have one last question, then we'll move to questions. So to round these questions to you, do you consider a currency, if it has a CEO, a truly decentralized currency? I mean, somehow somehow the person is somehow attached to the currency, that you see that, I think that was the main reason why Satoshi went like anonymous, and he didn't want to disclose himself. So can you really consider, like, in terms of XRP, can you consider that really a decentralized currency?
So basically, to say something, there are two aspects of this question. The first aspect is, the first point of view is, decentralization is something that you have as much computer you have, it means that you have a lot of nodes, and if nodes will, let's say, approve the transactions will not work. In the other hand, let's assume that as a company I have 100 millions of coins. Okay, how much of them are right now in the markets? This is, I think, the most important question. Let's say that 90% of them are in the markets, okay, and people valuing it, okay, traders valuing my coin, even it is attached to the central company, and also we have multiple nodes, and we have, let's say, decentralized computing. I think it can work basically. Why it shouldn't work?
But what will happen? Okay, sorry for the interruption, but what will happen if the government goes after those companies? Like, there have been certain cases in the past. So what will happen to the state of the currency?
If this company has decentralization, real decentralization, plus if the total supply of the coins, the most percent of the total supply of the coins are trading in the markets, this company basically cannot do anything. Even government will come and say that, hey, you need to shut down your company.
Now we agree on something. Finally, there is a point that we can agree.
Company cannot do anything. Company cannot do anything. For example, in ManaPay, we have coin Mana Cash. We are running it in the IBM Stellar network. So what if Dubai, someone from Dubai authority will come and say that you are going to shut down this? Basically, we can't, because it's not in our hands. They are the assets which are sitting in this guy's wallet, and I cannot stop it because it's really decentralized. But if it wasn't really decentralized, and if company holds, let's say, a big amount of this coin, yeah, it's a problem, and government can say that you need to, let's say, stop selling these coins or something, and companies can do it. But if it's decentralized enough, no one can do anything, basically.
Yes,
and
the same question.
We have seen it, by the way, in the past, even MLM systems using blockchain technology, the governments imprisoning the founders and so on. Yeah. Price collapses, but the people are retarded quite often. Exactly. That they still buy and sell because they look at the price moving from $100 to $1, and they think that it should go back to 100. They don't even want to read it. That was one of the key issues or key pitfalls of ICO boom bust of 2017 also. So it's all about the human psychology, what happens in there, and as long as people don't do their research, it will always happen in such a way that they won't be able to distinguish between decentralized platforms with centralized platforms. And to me, by the way, if you want to compare something that works, there is a website, well, there is a project called Genesis Vision as an example. They don't have their own technology per se for the coin. They're using Ethereum ERC20 as a protocol for their coin, but they are fully decentralized. The founding team do not own anything, about 2 or 3% of the total supply of the tokens, and they have put proper utilization around it, and because of it, the market basically is able to control it. I mean, the price of it. But at the same time, I don't think anyone would ever be able to hack them or stop them because of the fact that, one, the platform itself is decentralized. Two, the utility token itself is, I mean, it's distributed among 40, 50,000 people. You got to somehow collect all those 40, 50,000 people, and then you may be shutting them down.
It also happened to the Tron, by the way. FBI or something, or some central authority came and closed the office of the coin company. But again, it was because it was trading, basically. They couldn't stop the trading. They couldn't stop the wallets.
It's a Chinese company, by the way.
They could stop it. They could stop it before it hit the market, like the Telegram.
Yeah, exactly.
The Telegram coin, before it started trading and before it started becoming a decentralized, like SEC ruled a ruling that you cannot do it, it's illegal, blah blah. They stopped it and they returned the funds that they had raised from the people. Well, that's the way you kill it before the fire starts, you know.
Yeah.
So let's move to the questions. Actually, the first question is related to this topic that we are discussing right now. So how do you think the government regulations will affect Bitcoin in the future? Not just any cryptocurrency, but just like Bitcoin in specific.
Turan, I'm always positive, so you wanna go ahead first.
So Bitcoin, you ask for Bitcoin in specific or all cryptocurrencies?
Yes, just not cryptocurrency in general, but
okay.
Actually Bitcoin is. Yeah, Bitcoin has the first mover advantage. So when we talk about cryptocurrency, we usually talk about Bitcoin. So what happens to Bitcoin, I think, will somehow affect all other currencies because Bitcoin is the major one. It's the leading one.
So basically, I believe that all countries will allow trading Bitcoins. Okay, and most of them basically right now they allow to trade it, but the only concern that they have, they cannot tax it. So why? They cannot get a tax return from this, or so they will find a way to get a tax from your income from cryptocurrencies, from cryptocurrency trading.
How can you tax me if there's a private wallet with private keys?
But
I mean,
there is a way around it, and that's already happening, by the way. Blockchain is the worst technology to tax avoid, because whatever you do is always there. You cannot delete it. You cannot hide it. And
yeah,
sooner or later, you reveal the ownership of the coin, where who or where it belongs to. Like SEC right now is putting together a bunch of IT professionals and accountants to be able to track and trace and tax Bitcoin traders.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. It's okay. The main thing that is not okay is countries like Russia, countries like Vietnam or China, where they are totalitarian in a way, that they don't want their people have access to outside markets that than the ones that they can control. But even them banning it, we have seen Russia again said that we are going to put people into prison if they mine and trade Bitcoin. Yet still, Russia is among the top 5 or 6 of the world blockchain Bitcoin transactions. So I believe sooner or later, all the countries will come to a common denomination that people can trade or buy or hold whatever, and there will be countries deciding or giving a ruling that you should be taxed and under what circumstances. Like Germany is a great place. In Germany, if you buy Bitcoin and sell it in 3 months, you're subject to capital gains and you will have to pay tax. But if you buy it and hold it and sell it after a year, 12 months difference, there is no tax on it, which is a great way of moving forward. They want people to invest, not speculate, and that's also the way they can control the immediate hike and dive of the prices as well. Because when people are buying and selling quickly with especially leverage that some platforms are offering, it's also not good for the traders themselves. A lot of the people don't have financial literacy. They don't even know what the hell is leverage, yet they are using 1 to 200 leverage for an extreme volatile platform like Bitcoin. I mean,
and
imagine you have you go with $1,000 for a 1 to 200 leverage. By the time that you open the position, you have already lost, and you on top of it you owe a couple of hundred to your broker.
And by the way, when Bitcoin is going to be a taxable asset, then we will see a real price increase, I think, because a lot of institutional investors are basically scared to invest to cryptocurrencies because of the tax issues, regulatory issues. But when it will be a ETF or as some type of taxable asset, we will see I believe that we will see a huge increase in the price of all cryptocurrencies.
What do you think will be the final price of Bitcoin? I mean, some people were like predicting something around $1 million. So what do you think? I mean, technically, theoretically, it's possible, but what do you think will be the highest price?
I spoke like this about Bitcoin a few minutes ago, but of course I also hold Bitcoins, okay? But the only thing, I believe that we will see 100K, okay? But I am skeptic about $1 million because it's something, it doesn't have a financials. I don't know, it doesn't have a econometrics on it.
What's your take on it? I mean, $1 million per coin.
It's quite possible, but if you ask me, is it possible? My answer will be possible. Of course, it is possible. But if you ask me to put a timeline on when it's going to happen, my answer would be, I don't know. And the reasoning behind is that I personally expect to see the death of the current worldwide fiat economy. Because look at the Fed, they print $3 trillion and distribute, and are only able to keep the stock market alive just for 3-4 weeks with $3 trillion. Hell, look at the Bitcoin, then it's only like $100 billion total market cap. So there is a way for Bitcoin to rise even over. I would even say it could become even $1 billion a coin if the US dollar dies. And you cannot tell me, or anyone else cannot tell anyone that a currency will not die. Any fiat currency could die and will die. It's just a matter of time.
Historically, every fiat currency died, except, I mean, in the history of the United States, except dollars, and it has some timeline, I guess. And at the end of the day,
and the dollar itself. I mean, I first came to the US back in 2005. The dollar was much more valuable. I came with a couple of $100 in my pocket, and I could actually live with it. Now in the US, the unemployment claim for people is like $600 or something like that per week, and people are complaining that they cannot live with that money. So I believe you cannot keep things artificially. There needs to be economy is doing well, let's increase or change the interest rate. Economy is doing bad, let's reduce the interest rate. I hate I hate that kind of stuff, especially in Europe right now. You know, in Europe, I put my money into my bank, and I have negative 0.5% interest rate. So just to give my money, I give my money to the bank to keep it, and they are charging me per month for the cards that they are using it. They're using my money, and on top of it, end of the year, they are also penalizing me that I gave money to the bank. So what kind of logic is it?
But in the other hand, you can turn your cash, you can turn your fiat currency to the cryptocurrency, and you can lend it to the.
No, you cannot actually. In bunch of the banks, because banks are so narrow-minded, the second you get to be involved with cryptocurrencies, they start banning or closing your account. So you need to know which bank that you are utilizing for these kind of transactions.
No, I understand that there can be some banks that can stop this transaction, but just you can turn in when right now we are getting minus percentage from the dollar investment in the saving accounts, but we can basically turn it to the cryptocurrency and lend it to the exchanges. Right now there are huge percentage profits in exchanges when you lend a cryptocurrency or fiat currency today.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, go ahead.
Just I wanna give a full disclosure here. At the moment, I do not trade, buy, sell, mine any kind of coin at all. I do own some coins of different varieties that I believe that have feature, but I'm not speculating or trading any of them. It's just kind of my own Yakup family reserve fund, let's call it.
For the future. And the next question, actually, this is the last question. It's a really classic one. Who do you think is Satoshi Nakamoto? Is it like a one person? Is it like a government agency? Is it like a bunch of programmers? So, what's your idea about that?
That's a. I mean, whatever answer I give on it personally, it will bite me in the future. But I personally believe that whether it was one person or a group, the main party died. That's what I'm convinced of. I believe that the main person or a party have died or have gone to prison or something happened to them that they are not able to reveal themselves.
I mean, what makes you think that? Because they can't, I mean, there's no movement in their wallets, or what's the reason behind that thought?
I mean, unless there is something like future travel, someone being very, very active in 2008 before the project hits the market, mining going on and so on, and suddenly disappearing, there is just no proper logic behind it. I don't want to speculate on names and so on. It just definitely is not Craig Wright. 100% he's and with nobody with a proper mind, even if they were, they would not come and say that, hey, I'm the Satoshi, because then all the tax authorities would jump on them. So I mean, there are some stupid people, and then there are stupid people.
Yeah. So my opinion is basically I know some guys who looked at the first Bitcoin protocol's code base, okay, and they are very, let's say, well-known people to the IT industry and programming. They are great programmers and working for great companies in a very great positions. So basically, we came to the conclusion that this code, it wasn't written by one person, because the style of the coding was different in some places. But I think that Satoshi is some type of a tech lead, okay? And he is leading 2 or 3 programmers, okay? But he is also a great programmer, and he knows, I mean, he's also coding. And I agree with Yakup that I also think that somehow they went to prison or they died or something happened, because after this type of Git activity, you cannot just disappear. It is impossible. Okay, and when we look to their Bitcoin Talk activity, Bitcoin Talk org activity, we can see that they were basically posting every day, commenting
And
every
suddenly
day.
they're not.
Exactly. So this is something that, I mean, clean. I think something really solid happened. they died, or they are in the prison, or I don't know. But
I'm more inclined to the part that the main lead of the group passed away, who had access to the wallets and who had access to the main code and so on. And because of the fact that they were using pen names all the time, proper proxy to hide their identity and so on. So I'm very keen that the main person passed away. And there is, by the way, I'm not saying Craig Wright was not ever involved with Bitcoin at early stages. There is a very big possibility that he was. And there is also a very big possibility that he knows that the main person has passed away. And he thought that he could push it around and get the world to come and treat him as he is the god. But, well, he forgot Uncle Sam.
And he also couldn't prove by accessing the wallet of Satoshi Nakamoto.
Well, he thought that he could do that, but at the same time, he forgot Uncle Sam as well. I mean, even if he goes ahead and somehow gets his hands on to the first wallet, Uncle Sam will destroy him.
exactly.
I mean, it just is. It just doesn't work like that. You cannot fake it until you make it, especially in this kind of very sensitive industry. You either are or you are not, whatever you claim to be, and he's not.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess that was all. I want to thank you both for taking your time and joining me in this talk. And are there any, if you have anything to say, please take your time. We have 2 more minutes.
Sure. We are actually, although we appear to be very, very different-minded people between me and Turan, we have a common geek that we just recently jumped on board. So we are launching a new platform called Revealing with Turan 1st of September, revealing.com. And there will be parts of decentralization in there. Not exactly blockchain, but decentralization from various different aspects for companies, for events, for experts. So I know you guys are dealing with startups.
Yes.
So any startup that you guys are dealing with would be welcome to come and join Revealing. We have the directory completely free of charge for people. And whether you are looking for, let's say, a talent to hire on whatever in this whatever segment that you look for, or you're looking for an outsource option in any part of the world, or hosting an event, whether online or offline, you will be able to do it. I know it became kind of promotional, but we have a very big vision that the world needs a change, just like Satoshi had a vision on the peer-to-peer transactions. And we hope that we can do it. And it also shows that, by the way, different-minded people like me and Turan, we can still be friends and we can still work together, and that's what brings innovation together, right?
That's true. That's true.
If you always agree with each other, forget about it.
Nothing happens. Yeah. Nothing happens. Yes.
Exactly. So I also want to thank you to because you invited us to this conversation. I basically previous year I had some touch from Azerbaijan to be a part of the Azerbaijan ecosystem, startup ecosystem, and nowadays I think that yes, I can do it in the next I don't know, after next 2 or 3 years. Why not? I am loving Jakub.
Well, the timeline is realistic. That's what I'm.
Okay. and like this. So I want to thank you to invite me to you. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you guys once again for taking your time and for joining us. It was great talking to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.